Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
All right. All my brewing brothers and sisters, hey, howdy, hey.
Greetings, Jamil. How's your head?
That was the weirdest intro you guys have ever done.
I know.
What was that?
Oh, no, you haven't been listening long enough then.
Oh, no. I'm not listening now.
You become more like Justin every day. I'm just saying.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. My sentiments exactly. We're here.
We're back, yes.
Live in the lovely studio at the Hop Grenade in downtown Concord, California.
Which is very nice downtown, actually.
It's beautiful. And I mean,
not the Pacheco or Martinez was bad.
I tell you, my favorite thing is not having to drive around the frickin' block looking for parking space that would allow me enough time to put enough quarters in to be able to park, and free parking.
Yeah.
Like a 4-level parking structure for 4 hours. There's always parking here for free.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's like a block from the Hop Grenade. You come in, 21 beers on, free parking, and you can hear the show and see us right through the big glass window there.
Be careful, though, if you're going to park all day, like if you work here, because it's 4-hour parking during the week, and poor Bevo got a ticket.
2.
Oh,
really?
no, 2 of them?
I've gotten 2 of them.
Oh, no.
Well,
one of them I got because I was parked on the street for too long. I deserved that one. But I was hungover and I didn't care.
I just don't care about the people who work here. I'm talking about, because what we do, John, is not work.
Then I'm not going to tell you that if you park on the 3rd floor, it's free all day.
Oh.
Yeah. 3rd floor, 72 hours, in fact, they told me.
72? Jesus Christ. What are you doing for 72 hours down here?
Well, I was going to park the car here, and then we were going to go up to Dobbins. But but as
you could have done that.
Mm-hmm. But it worked out better going and parking at the brewery.
It did? Why?
Well, it was inside. Less pigeons.
It's a rental car, John.
That's true.
I don't know. You understand the concepts of rental car. Concept of rental car is you get somebody to loan you a car, you pay them like $35 a day, and for that $35, you are able to do whatever you damn well please to that car. If you ever want to ruin a car, this is your opportunity. When you want the accelerator, you push that thing to the floor. When you want the brake, you push that thing to the floor. When it's time for a turn, you yank that thing hard. When it comes to parking, you just slam it in any old spot you can find.
Have the music as loud as I want.
Well, if you have no passengers.
That's always the case.
There you go, yeah. But that's rental car.
Yeah, okay.
Just filling you in here. That's why you paid your $35.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, I was prepared to park up there for 72 hours, and they said, well, it may be broken into, off chance. So better at the brewery when it was, instead of me just be dumped on.
It's certain that it's going to be broken into.
Yeah.
Hey, what car is this? Let's put a homeless person in there. Yeah. No. Speaking of homeless people, have you seen John Blickman recently?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen him since NHC this past June. But I'm sure he's busy, in his little cave designing more cool brewing equipment.
Right. And I would say this about him, he has that kind of crazy look.
Yeah.
That, you meet some homeless people, not all, but some homeless people on the street, and one of the reasons they're homeless is because they have, mental problems.
Mm-hmm.
and you're never really sure if they're absolutely genius. They're so intelligent that they have ended up on the street because
they just can't be confined by.
They're not syncing up with the rest of reality. They've evolved past us, and we're all like And this person who's spouting off numbers and all this stuff, they're giving us like the answer to how the universe was formed and what the answer of life, and they're spouting that off, and we're all just like crazy person. Same thing with John Blickman.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, the guy's genius enough to almost appear crazy.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. That's a really brilliant guy right there.
Yeah. I mean, you'll notice John and Doug. I mean, sometimes they'll just be chuckling together.
Right.
And kind of like us, but I mean, but
ours is about the size of our dicks. For John, it's about something intelligent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And when that's the thing, you'll go and you'll hang with these guys. They'll take you to dinner. They're very nice.
Oh yeah.
And then you're chatting, and then all of a sudden they get some idea, and then they're like, "Hey, what?" And they start engineering something while you're sitting there at the table.
Napkins being snapped up right and left,
and then they kind of ignore you because you're not smart enough to be part of that conversation. But hey, I can deal with that because I have alcohol, which helps me get through the day. Yeah, all right. And when intelligent people are doing their work,
right? Yeah, we'll grab a crayon and we'll keep ourselves content.
We'll start coloring it. I have learned to color inside the lines. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It took a while, but I'm getting there. It's not that bad. I can do it. I trust me, John. Trust me.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I'll give you the other two colors then too.
All right. So long story short, they take this genius and they apply it to the products made by Blickman Engineering Company. You go to blickmanengineering.com, Blickman with two N's. You'll see a lot of the cool things that they do. And the thing I love, it's like the beer gun.
Yeah.
It's, okay, here's how everybody fills beer bottles. Can we do it better? And sure enough, invents a better way of filling beer bottles. A way that gets patented. They get assigned a patent. And yeah, it's a brilliant way of filling beer bottles.
Yeah. Well, in fact, when you were battling some of the first batches, commercial batches of Heretic beer, you used beer guns to do it.
We used it to fill 5,000 Worry bottles.
There you go.
There you go. We ganged 4 of those things together and filled 5,000 Worry bottles with it. It's a good tool. A good tool. It's a great way of filling that I think ought to work its way into commercial packaging. And I've been trying to convince Blickman to do it, but he's too busy working on homebrew.
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with him?
He likes the little guys like us. Like
right.
Okay.
Yes, us little guys. You're right. He does. So tell him you like him. Go to blickmanengineering.com. Send him an email. And tell him how great he is for sponsoring this show. All right, what are we talking about today?
Some
more nonsense?
Yeah, miscellaneous quick Q&A.
No, it's Q&A. The show is about what? Just claim something.
It's about brewing by the numbers.
Brewing by the numbers. All right, coming up. After this break, what we're going to do is get your questions. You can actually email in brewstrong@thebrewingnetwork.com. Email in your questions. We answer on shows like this.
That's right.
And now we actually take, since we have the absolutely lovely Bevo in studio with us, she will screen your chat questions. She will actually take live phone calls. You get to talk to Bevo if you dial 888-401-BEER, 888-401-2337.
That's right.
Get to talk to Bevo. That's actually quite nice. And if you have a question, she'll put you on the air. All right, we'll be back after this.
Tonight is the night.
We bring the creature to life, Dr. Blickmanstein?
Yes, J.P. Gore. Everything is perfect for my next fermented creation.
But Roger, the storm is too far away. We'll never have enough power to isomerize the creature's alpha acid.
Yes, J.P. Gore, we will. For I have in my possession the Tower of Power.
Blickman's new Tower of Power is the evolution of automation. Control hot liquor, sparge, and mash temps like a pro. The Tower of Power is a high-quality gas-fired rim system that works with your current brewing setup. With ultra precision, the tower can hold your mash to 1/2 of a degree Fahrenheit. Precision and repeatability. The Tower of Power is the answer to automatic, fast ramp times. See more at BlickmanEngineering.com. Bring your next creation to life with the Tower of Power.
Dr. Blickmanstein, with the Tower of Power, you can probably give me an afternoon at the pub to enjoy a pint.
Don't be silly, J.P. Gore. We have beer to brew.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like AHA member deals that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and Zymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love, and access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your homebrewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at Cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Back to the 2 guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
He's back.
Yeah, we during the break we were talking about, I haven't done during the break stuff anymore for a long time. We used to do, during the break we talked about. I love that.
Schrodinger's cat.
I thought that was the wonderful.
It was. There's a lot we haven't covered in the 6 breaks that you haven't done that.
No, I haven't done it for like a couple of months, I think. Oh. Yeah, well, during the break we were talking about, we get a beer in front of us, and, amazing, great head retention and lacing. I mean, the glass is solidly coated with lacing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like a meringue almost.
But you don't use hop extract in this at all.
No,
it's strictly normal hops.
Right. I wasn't going to say it was our beer, but yeah, it is our beer.
And I think that's kind of germane to the whole discussion we were having, though.
No. I don't think it is. I think So we were talking about problems that people have with fermentation, things like that, and the questions that are asked. We were talking at NCHF, and a lot of people when they see John, there's like, John, water,
Right.
And you talk to them about water and all that, and it's almost assuming that they've done a great job on everything else.
Right.
And and I know that sanitation's more important.
Right.
Fermentation's far more important.
Yeah.
Temperature control. Even recipe is probably more important than water.
That's correct, yeah.
And so I was saying, looking at this beer, I'm like, that's
the lacing,
amazing head.
Yeah.
And when people complain about, they don't get good head on their beer, a lot of times, their focus is
the mash.
Mash. Oh,
I
it's
didn't
the
do this
mash.
temperature rest. Yeah.
It's this, I was at 152.5, not 152. I did, this, I did that. Oh, maybe it's the water. Maybe it's this.
Carapils.
Yeah. It's all the stuff. Oh, what other grains should I add? And, should I do all these protein rests? Do I need to do triple decoction and all that stuff? And it's like, simple infusion, whatever your tap water is, use grains that were grown and malted by a actual malting company that you didn't like do in your own backyard and then malt in your dryer, and you're probably fine on all that.
Right.
And what it is great fermentation.
Right.
Good, solid, healthy yeast, not a lot of dead yeast you're carrying over, temperature control, viability, things like that. Great fermentation, and then the head takes care of itself.
Yeah. Head retention is, this beer demonstrates it. Good head retention will happen. It's the detrimental effects, stressful fermentation. Yeast stress releases a lot of lipids.
Right.
Lipids act to break up the foam and cause a rapid fall in head retention. Obviously, this beer doesn't have that. And
so it looks like it was nitrogenated.
Yeah. It's just clinging all over.
Yeah, and it's with tight, creamy bubble, and Well, then we talked about how Charlie Bamforth,
right?
We asked him about hot side aeration,
right? It's always been about.
And he's like,
topic.
and people just focus on that endlessly, and he's like, if your fermentation's good, that'll actually clear up any issues you have with hot side aeration. That's not a big deal,
right?
Because like Anheuser-Busch, was it Anheuser-Busch or Coors that was cascading their hot wort down
It was AB.
Right. They do it down a waterfall, like a washboard waterfall.
Yeah, called hot stripping. Yeah,
and they're stripping out volatile whatever. If hot side aeration is an issue, they're loading up on hot side aeration.
Yeah.
If you were trying to get as much hot side aeration as possible, this is how you would do it. Mm-hmm. And they have no problems with hot side aeration. Why? Because their fermentation is really good.
Yeah.
So they resolve that is not a problem. But yet we will get people talking about hot side aeration endlessly.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to use a pump, but then it could, hot side aeration. Oh, it's splashing. It's like, well, all right, do what you can easily do to try and minimize hot side aeration.
Good
but,
brewing practice.
Yeah,
but,
try and be gentle on your word, but don't obsess over it. Obsess over fermentation.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah. In fact, if I were to digress a little bit on hot side aeration, this past summer at NHC, the AHA has sponsored a study on hot side aeration. The AHA is doing that. It's one of the things the organization does is they provide money and resources to help brewers with proposals. If they want to address the brewing question, this brewer said, "I'd like to do a study on hot side aeration," and
they supply some money to it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then he did a presentation at NHC. Well, anyway, the variables that he used in the study.
Hold on. Before you get into the variables,
okay,
I want to say, that's another great example why the AHA is so worthy of our support.
Right.
not only all the cool stuff you get, the free AHA rallies, the Zymergy magazine, the pub discount program, the forums, the conference, all that stuff, and somebody looking out for homebrewing in general, they really believe that, their role is not just to sell you a membership, collect money. It's a nonprofit, collect money and, do whatever. It's how do we make homebrewing better? How do we help homebrewing, be better, exist longer, get more people? That's their goal. It's like very altruistic.
Yeah.
It really is. So if you got the one batch's worth of ingredients in money to spare, sign up for the AHA. Seriously, do it through the Brewing Network. The Brewing Network gets a little cut, and that helps keep this stuff on the air. But really, it's great stuff, and they keep coming up with stuff like this. Can we take some of this? We got a little bit of extra money. Can we put that back into research? From homebrewers to actually teach us more and make better homebrew.
Right.
Very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted, but
no worries. Yeah. So, long story short, with the study, I mean they used a whisk and a mixer, and they frothed the wort at the beginning of the mash, at the end of the mash, during the sparge. I mean, taking several opportunities to put air into into the wort when it was hot. Did several different batches and fermented them well, and then they had these bottles evaluated by various brewers and judges. The result was that they could not find a statistical difference in the shelf life of the beers between the controls and these various conditions of where they aerated the wort hot. And it does kind of point, in terms of the null hypothesis and so on, that a good fermentation will negate the effects of hot side aeration, and beer shelf life stability is really more dependent on your package oxygen, how you treat the beer,
how sanitary everything is.
Yeah, how sanitary and how much oxygen you're getting.
How great your fermentation was and all that. Yep.
Right.
It strikes me that there's a ton of that this is a through line in brewing of focusing on details when, like,
meaningless bullshit.
Yeah, like,
yes.
I want to, I'm worried about the octane of the fuel in my car, and also the degree of the steering wheel. Meanwhile, there's no wheels on the car.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, very good. Oh, you've never changed the oil, and you've never checked the oil, but you're worried about, what kind of, am I putting in a high enough octane gas in my car? And that's an excellent analogy.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe it's just easier to. I don't know. It's not easier to.
You've never checked for air in your tires, yet you're worried about the timing of of your
air to fuel ratio.
Right. Yeah. Air to fuel ratio.
Water is like
nonsense.
that. I mean,
it's important, but generally, any gas you can buy from a gas station is going to work out just fine in your car. Just about any decent water, if it tastes okay,
it's going to brew great beer.
It's going to brew fine beer. You do just fine with it. I think that was excellent, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that really clarifies it for a lot of people. They're focusing on the wrong things, They're wondering, what kind of windshield washer fluid should I use? What's the ratio of water to windshield washer fluids? Do I use this washer fluid that is, for cold weather? My weather gets cold, but, is it cold enough that I need a special cold weather washer fluid? Or Jesus Christ, you realize that your tires are totally bald and you're going to steer off the road and die?
And you have no transmission.
Right. And you haven't changed the oil in 50,000 miles and there's probably no oil left.
Well, why do you think that is? That's so interesting. Like, why are people so prone to focusing on minutia they disregard the big stuff?
They listen to talk radio too much.
We'll
Exactly.
be right back on Car Talk after this.
Part of it is the bullshit that's out there. And I wonder if hot side aeration was kind of more theoretical than realistic. Yeah. There's so much theoretical stuff, and part of it is, hey, if you're wondering about this and thinking about it, great. And if you have an idea or a thought that maybe something could be an issue or could be a better way of doing things, absolutely get out there on the forums, suggest it as a possibility. But the problem is people latch on to this stupid stuff and go forward with it with no research whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just, it's depressing.
Well, George was the one that kind of brought it up. George Fix.
Oh, what did that guy know? Jesus.
But he was bringing it up and looking at it because this is a factor. Could be a factor in brewing. Where does it fit in? Nobody else is really talking about it much. Let's look into it. AJ, water. Myself with water. Something that
what do
people,
you guys know about water?
Yeah, people had questions, and it's like, okay, let's try to answer these questions.
Right.
What kind of gets missed, though, is because we get into these discussions on the forums and so on, is the context, the overall context. Where does water fit into the big picture?
Well,
where does hot cideration fit into the big picture?
I don't think you're wrong. You're answering questions for people, and you're people ask you, "Hey, John, what is this?" And you do the research, and you're working on it, and go, "Well, here's the answer." And then there's just a lot of discussion around it, but I don't think you are the one, or any AJ or you or anyone was the person that said, maybe it was Colin. It's goddamn Colin's fault. That said, hey, beer is 95% water. It's like, well, sure it is. So water's the most important ingredient in beer. No, because 95% of water that you can get out of a tap is perfectly fine for brewing beer. Don't lose sight of that. The inference is that because water is 95% of beer,
right,
that the water coming out of the tap, you have to totally focus on that. That's like, well, they've already taken, the utility company that is producing your water is actually taking care of that for you. Or, God is taking care of it for you, or whoever, whatever you want to think. The water is water. Water will not dissolve. Water's a great solvent. Right. It'll dissolve, a lot of stuff. But even water's capability to dissolve a ton of stuff, you boil it, pretty much all this stuff drops out. The water still is going to be pretty much okay. Unless you have the most horrible water in the world,
right?
It can pretty much, muddle along. Water seeks its own balance.
That's right. Yeah, as we've said, most any water will brew good beer. The only time to get really concerned about water is if you're trying to address specific issues, specific organic aromas and so on that are coming in from the water supply.
Or if you live in Beirut and your municipality is not taking care of it for you.
Yeah, if it's been bombed out. So,
well, here's the other great thing I'll say about this pint of beer. Look how clean that glass must have been.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are doing a good job. I actually had one of your servers pour me a glass of beer, and he looked at it and he goes, this beer isn't clean. This glass isn't clean. He goes, I'm going to pour you another one.
I didn't authorize that.
And so you
paid double, right?
He dumped it. Absolutely. I put on the Brienne tab twice.
Okay.
And,
who is it? It's coming out of his paycheck.
And then he was like, no. He goes, that glass wasn't 100% clean. Because he saw some big bubbles forming on the side. And so he tossed it and got me a new one. I really appreciate that because that is how I instruct my people to do it. I hope they're doing it. I don't think they're, I'm not sure everyone is that onto it. Look at this thing. It's forming all the way down. I took a picture of that.
That is impressive. It's about 3/4 gone, but the lacing is basically to the brim.
Right, we're a half hour in. I still have head.
Yeah.
And it's not even lacing. It is a complete coating all the way down the glass.
So between Heretic Brewing Company, Ecolab dishwashers, and the Hop Grenade staff, it's dialed in.
And your dishwasher's working that well, huh?
Yeah, it works really well. It's the high temp, very light on the chemical usage.
Because my people are like, oh, we want a dishwasher. I'm like, it doesn't do as good a job as washing them by hand.
That's probably true,
yeah.
but it's damn
high
close,
volume, yeah.
And it's exactly high volume.
I have to find out what model you have, and maybe we'll talk after this. All right, yeah.
During the next break,
yeah, let's take a break, and during the break, Scott and I will talk about dishwashers.
Back after this.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters, this is Jamil Zainashev, and I love a bold, hoppy beer, one that spits resin in your face and makes you cry uncle. There are a lot of great hoppy beers out there, but at Heretic, we want to make something as bold, dank, and resiny as possible. We use hops at every chance we get, including multiple dry hop additions. The result is Heretic Evil Cousin. This light golden, 8% Imperial IPA has an easy malt character that helps take the edge off the massive bittering, but it takes a back seat to the in-your-face hop character. We make sure this beer finishes dry so the hops can jump out and slam you in the taste buds. If you can't get enough hoppy goodness, Evil Cousin is your cup of tea. Cheers.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're actually kind of enjoying the fact that we're having a chance to talk and
hang out again,
discuss what we think about beers and brewing and stuff like that. Dishwashers and all that. It's wonderful stuff. Maybe we should get to a couple of Q&A questions.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Sure, why not? This is Kevin in Seattle to start it off. He said, Jamil and John, I've recently been upgraded to a conical fermenter. When dumping trub, I've been removing the airlock and placing an empty sanitized airlock into the bunghole to let air in. Is this adequate to keep wild yeast and such out of the fermenter?
So do you need to keep wild yeast out of your fermenter when you're kind of just dropping yeast? Or
Right. So, the way you do it commercially is, and for a lot of the people that's starting up nanobreweries and wondering about this, I find that they have this question often, is to hook up CO2 to your tank.
Okay.
Even a low PSI. So when you pull something out, there's a replacement of carbon dioxide.
Okay. Yeah.
Why people don't do that, I don't know. But if you don't have that ability and you're working like glass carboys and things like that in homebrew level, replacing with an empty sanitary, airlock, something like that, not the greatest. Actually, what's better is, take a towel.
Okay, damp towel.
Take a dish towel, something like that. Soak it in a bucket of sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
A clean new one. Soak it in a bucket of sanitizer, and then lay it over the top of whatever you might, the opening of whatever.
Yep.
And let the air draw through that, and that's probably a pretty decent filter. It's not 100% sterile filter. You can actually hook up a lot of vendors, Northern Brewer, More Beer, they sell little sterile air filters. You can hook that up and let that draw air through. The cheapest way is to just your bucket of Star San and
a towel, tea towel, kind of thing.
A damp towel will. The thicker the towel, the better. It will draw through there. It touches the sanitizer. It's pretty much done, and it'll stop most airborne. Wild yeast bacteria travel on motes of dust.
Yeah,
and so if you can trap that mote of dust, it doesn't get into the beer. You're good.
Kevin goes on to say, I have a barbed hose fitting on the lid that I use with CO2 to start a siphon and get all the beer out when kegging. Would it be better to have an inline sterile filter on the hose barb while dumping trub instead of a dry airlock? After dumping trub, do I need to flood the top of the beer with CO2?
Right. So what he should do is just hook up CO2 to that barb and not a sterile filter. CO2 is pretty much sterile. There's nothing living in there. And just turn it on at a couple of PSI and let it, fill the vessel. You could, if he was really picky, you could get a cask breather, if he's worried about, too much CO2 pressure, which keeps it at like 1 PSI. And it'll draw, when he pulls stuff out, it'll keep it at 1 PSI.
This actually reminds me of a question that I had. Speaking of airlocks, when we did the last Brewcaster Challenge beer and I did a double IPA, I had the primary going in the big carboy, right, in like the 6 gallon, and I put it over to the 5 gallon for the secondary, and I can't remember if I was cleaning the initial carboy or what I did, but I somehow popped the rubber part of the airlock down in, and now it's in the carboy. It's in the empty carboy.
Right.
Is there a way to get it out?
Yes.
How?
So what you do is you stick a piece of fabric in or something inside the opening of the carboy, and then you invert the carboy so the airlock stopper gets down in there, and then you pull on the fabric, and it'll pull it up to the opening and right out.
Well, but how do you? But I could get the stopper to the opening, but I couldn't squeeze it through. How does the fabric help?
The fabric does it because it's alongside of the stopper, or you might be able to use a string or something like that.
But yeah, just the friction.
The friction between the stopper and the fabric.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But keep everything moist and wet,
right?
Which will allow it to all pull through. But you stuff like a handkerchief or something, like a bandana or something in there. Roll the stopper to where it's laying against it, and then pull the bandana out.
I see. So in other words, the bandana gets in between the rubber and the glass.
Yep.
I see.
And that's and as you're pulling more and it's getting tighter in there, it's putting more pressure on the bandana to the surface, and it's enough friction to pull it right out.
Gotcha.
That's the real old one that actually I had read and didn't believe, and then I finally actually had that problem, and sure enough, it worked real easy.
Wow. Okay, good.
It works perfectly, like every time.
I was struggling. I was like, well, this is, I guess the carboy is a total loss.
Right? Yeah, you'll invert it and you'll pick at it with your fingers. You'll try and stick something in the hole.
Yeah, I was using like
a
bent wire hanger.
No,
nothing worked.
Super easy with a piece of fabric.
Wow, there you go. So I'm glad. I guess I'm glad that I didn't. I considered just fermenting a batch in there anyway. Like I can just sit in there,
smashing the carboy, the $40 carboy to retrieve a $1 stopper. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, this one is from Nick. Nick says, "Hey guys, first of all, love the show and the books. I really can't get enough. Brew Strong, keep up the good work. There's a lot of conflicting information on the forums about the safety of plastics in brewing. I would like to use more plastics in my process because they are cheap and they are easy to work with. However, I can never get a clear answer of what is safe to use and at what temperature. I really learned a lot from the episode on metals in brewing. You guys thought about doing an episode on plastics in brewing. Not necessarily, but we will certainly answer your question."
Right. So we answered this one in fair detail in the last show.
Yeah.
But generally the answer is if it's FDA approved, it's fine. It doesn't matter what temperature it's approved for, all that stuff. Avoid colored plastics. Go with the clear, the translucent and the white, and you're fine. There's not enough plasticizers or other compounds in there that are really going to, if you get an odor from the plastic in your beer, that's a negative just from a
odor point of view,
aesthetic point of view, but it's not a health hazard.
What, do you work for the plastic company, man? Are you with Big Plastic? Is that it?
Hey. I got the big plastic for you.
Like we said in the last show, I mean, what's Brew
Strong?
No, not Brew Strong.
Brewing Style?
No, James' show, as I blank on it for momentarily.
Basic Brewing Radio.
There we go. Basic Brewing Radio did a good show on that.
Toxicity thing.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of big plastic, have you checked out adamandeve.com recently?
No, I haven't.
I'm telling you can find some pretty impressive pieces of plastic there. Bevo, have you purchased any large pieces of plastic from adamandeve.com?
She's doing the hand over the throat thing.
No. I imagine she's not getting the translucent or the white. I think she's going with darker colors.
I've not purchased anything of that nature from Adam and Eve.
Yeah. I don't freaking believe her. Turn her mic off. But I'll tell you what she's probably getting at adamandeve.com. She's going there. She's using the offer code Jamel. See, I can turn my back to her, which is awesome because then
you're missing a great show though.
She's got a pair of scissors. Oh, no. You go to adamandeve.com and use the offer code Jamel. Are you using my name there when you go to adamandeve.com? You're typing in Jamel, Jamil?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so she is. You use the offer code Jamel, and what happens when you put your large plastic item, Bevo, into the shopping cart, and you use offer code Jamel?
Oh, is that where you put it?
You put it wherever you want, and you're going to get that large plastic item for 50% off.
Wow.
There you go. Well, that's not all.
Price, but not the size.
Right. No, you're gonna get every bit of that giant donger right there, giant rubber donger. To a session phrase there, Australian phrase.
I thought there were some bungee straps.
and 50% off. That's all you're paying. You're going to get free shipping. You're going to get a free extra gift. And you get to choose 3 free adult DVDs from categories such as anal, amateur, Asian, big breasts, big butts, bisexual, chunky, co-eds, fetish, gay, interactive, POV, lesbian, MILFs, etc. 50% off. That's it. All that rest of the stuff, free. And just use the offer code Jamil, Jamil. You can even do it off mobile. Check them out today, adamandeve.com. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we will wrap up with more questions and more answers right after this.
In a world where everything has been lost.
What happened to the city? It's in ruins.
Only one man has the ancient knowledge to restore civilization.
I need a drink. Oh no, the liquor store's been ransacked.
You looking for beer, stranger? Boy, all the liquor got drunk up in the first 25 minutes of the apocalypse.
Wait, there's still some bottles over... Oh, no. Those are non-alcoholic beer.
I reckon you better stick to arrowroot tea and a desperate nomadic existence like the rest of us.
People, I'm a home brewer. I know how to make alcohol. It can't be done. Come with me if you want the beer. Okay, I'm going to need some big plastic buckets.
He is the chosen one. The prophecies say that he's going to get us wasted.
Someone start heating water.
From the creators of Northern Brewer, the people who brought you massive selection and superior customer service, comes the Home Brewer.
Have you ever dreamed of attending the World Brewing Academy? This year, thanks to Lalamond and Danstar, one lucky brewer will make that dream a reality for free. Lalamond and Danstar invite you to enter the Beer School 2015 contest. One lucky grand prize winner will receive fully paid tuition to the 2015 World Brewing Academy web-based concise course in brewing technology worth almost $4,000. From now until December 13th, 2014, every Danstar yeast packet you use is your ticket to enter. Visit danstaryeast.com for the details and to print your official entry form. There's no limit on the number of times you can enter, so get brewing with Danstar and get your entries in to the Danstar 2015 Beer School Contest. Whether you want to build your home brewing skills or build a career as a professional brewer, this course will change the way you think of beer and brewing. Enter at danstaryeast.com and get the dry yeast advantage with Danstar and Lalamond Premium Brewing Yeast and enter to win.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry. And to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Jamil Zainasheff, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Home Brewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your home brew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zainasheff. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
Back to your hosts, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. Putting the testicles in technical. This is Brew Strong.
What did we miss on this recent break? We talked about Bevo's fruit flies. We talked about Bevo's proclivity for large plastic items colored darkly, and we talked about more dishwashers.
Mm-hmm.
You look at me for it.
It's like you're looking at me like, man, he's not going to make it out of here alive.
She's
going to cut a dude.
Oh, yeah. Her nostrils are getting more and more flared with each comment.
Do you have big nostrils, Bevo?
No, she No, she doesn't. But she flares them when she is having the this is nonsense look.
I think she's going to give me a pass because, and here's why. All right,
this is going to be good. You ready, Bevo?
I don't hurt the geriatric.
Right. there's that, plus the mentally infirm. She married a mentally infirm dude.
This is true.
She must have a soft spot in her heart for stupid guys.
You're right.
I do.
She pretends like she's annoyed, but really she loves
She
you.
ain't going to cut somebody as stupid as me.
You're right.
do.
And old as me. So there you go. I got to pass. She's like, yeah, he's pathetic.
And
I won't hurt him.
Here I am taking her annoyance at face value, and that's so
You shall cut.
So silly.
So be careful. Right? You have no excuse. I do. So there you go.
Yeah. Let's do a question from Dan, who says, guys, what resources are out there that you would recommend so I can learn how to taste what is wrong or good about my beers? Initially, I'd like to know how to make better beers and judge them subjectively, but I don't know what I'm tasting when I taste my beer. It's possible I just don't have the palate at all, but I'd be inclined to believe that I just don't recognize these flavors. Any guidance or help would be appreciated. So this is also sort of similar to what we were talking about.
I think one of the greatest assets to a brewer trying to figure out if the beer, what their beer is like, is to submit it to as many competitions as possible. These blind competitions. I was talking to somebody at the NCHF, and he's like, I take it to my club meeting, and they tell me it's buttery. And, what can I do to reduce it, get rid of this buttery? I'm like, well, first off, don't give it to your club members. I mean, give it to them, but don't 100% trust them.
Right.
I mean, sometimes people are too nice or are too critical just because they know you. So, send it in blind. Or I told him, I said, find your finest lager that you really like and everybody likes. I said, drink what's in there, refill it with your homebrew, recap it, and take it down. They go, I brought a bottle of this commercial beer, and see what people's responses are. I said, if people's responses aren't the same as they are when you bring your beer in, then you'll see how they're either they're being really nice to you or they're being really mean to you or whatever. Not because they're bad people or good people. It's just because that's the way it is. Everything colors our perception. Yeah. Whether it's the package it's in or whatever. So again, send them into competitions. I would suggest studying for like the BJCP exam. Even if you don't take the exam, the study part of it, if you find a study course near you, that can be helpful. Go through the BJCP style guide and try and buy as many examples as you see in there and taste them. Listen to our Brewing with Style show. Which we do on the Brewing Network as well. That's got a lot of information, and we go through the examples, and we cite some of the flavors that you're getting and should be getting. I think that helps as well. And then what worked for me was every time you drink something or eat something, or a fart goes wafting by, try to think about it. What am I smelling? What am I tasting? What is this? What are these aromas? How do I equate what I am detecting now with other things I've had that I can name? Put a name to it. Put a name to it. Put a name to it. And if you do that enough, you all of a sudden, you'll find yourself. It becomes much easier. Oh, those hops have a lot of geranium in them.
Be floral, yeah.
Oh, those hops are, that's pink grapefruit.
Mm-hmm. That's onion garlic.
There's all these flavors that you already know that you consume, on a regular basis. You just need to match the things up so you can talk to somebody else using those words.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to agree with you. Study for the BJCP. Learn to be a beer judge. Look in your area. Very often there will be a BJCP study class going on sometime soon. And part of those classes is they will doctor some beers with known off flavors such as the butter, the diacetyl, DMS, cooked corn. And, in that kind of controlled setting with a neutral commercial beer as the backbone, you can learn to pick up some of those aromas and flavors and train yourself. So if he's trying to, train himself to recognize some off flavors, that's one good way to do it.
If I could be so bold as to also suggest that you do sort of similar to what we do on Brewing with Style. Get together with some of your homebrew club, whoever, or your friends, and get a few commercial examples of the same style of beer. That really has helped. I mean, I still have a long way to go, but it has helped me a lot. Hearing other people's perceptions and what their palate is getting, and then tasting them and recognizing once you hear it, and then it helps you recognize it on your own, and also that the different of the same style, different examples of the same style, really helps you dial that in.
Find some of the more subtle things, and then anything side by side, you're like, oh, okay. Especially when they're trying to be the same thing. If you get 100 people that like clone a beer, and they'd be like, wow, there's 100 different variations of this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Next question.
This is from Cody, writing us from Fargo, North Dakota. He says, Cody, 1-year brewer, so he's fairly new, and he says, yo, my brewing bros and hoes. What's the deal with hop extract? My brewmate wants to make an IPA using hop extract. I've seen both hop resins and hop oils in the extract sections on Northern Brewer and More Beer and etc., and I was wondering exactly what the differerences are. Are there specific extracts for bittering, flavor, aroma, boil, no boil, dry hopping additions, etc.?
Right. We could do a whole show on this, I think.
Yeah, we really could.
When you're talking to extracts, there are pre-isomerized, where they're already bittered, and you can add those without a boil to adjust the bittering of your beer. There are hop extracts that are essentially the volatile aromatic oils that you can add in to add hop character to your beer. Then there's the hop extract that we use at Heretic. We will actually use, they'll make generic extracts, but we actually use a varietal extract. We use Apollo extract. And what we use it for is in our Evil Cousin, because we like to use a lot of Apollo in that. The problem is if we use just the leaf
hops
product, it becomes really vegetal. And so in order to get a cleaner, bittering and hop character, we pay more money, believe it or not, for extract. So we hope it works out to just about even, because we get a little bit more beer out of it, but it's a better flavor because of that. You're removing all that vegetable stuff. What they do, hop extracts got a bad name back in the day because they use chemicals to dissolve the resins, and then
hexane, different solvents.
And they get these, they collect all that, and then they kind of drive off the solvents, let the solvents evaporate, but it left solvents behind. Not good for you. It doesn't taste good. Things like that. Now what they do is they use
supercritical carbon dioxide.
And they use that to rinse the resins and stuff out of the hops. So carbon dioxide is already in your beer. It's a great way to go, and they make a really high quality product with it. It tends to be a little pricey, but it can make some nice. It's nothing to be afraid of anymore. There are reasons to use it. The aroma oils and things like that, and the pre-isomerized, I tend not to use. The oils and stuff kind of it just seems added on to me. Okay. And maybe that's in my imagination. I haven't done a whole lot of experimentation with it, but when I do, it's just like, it's added on to the beer.
I mean, I haven't used it very much myself, but when I do, it's because I'm trying to brew a style such as double IPA, your Evil Cousin, for example, where you're trying to get a cleaner bitterness, or and a very much higher bitterness than what is easily obtainable with raw hops alone, or normal hopping. Right. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for brewing other styles such as some lagers, normal gravity beers. Traditional hopping methods work fine for those, but it's when you're trying to push the envelope with hop character, that's when these extracts can be very useful.
Right. All right.
There's a little bit more to Cody's question, but perhaps we will save this for a whole show. All right, here's one from Sean. Sean says, here in Europe, I cannot buy small oxygen bottles like in the U.S. I have a pro brewer friend who said he'd put some oxygen in a corny keg for me. Is this safe?
Yeah, it's safe other than any sort of explosive things. Use oxygen-safe tubings and stuff like that if you're using plastic. and rubbers and things like that. Some of them can combust in a 100% oxygen environment. So just be careful of that. But other than that, it's fine.
Corny kegs are rated to, 75 PSI, something like that?
Oh, no, I think they go even higher, like 100 or something like that. But I think they're generally rated like 60. Any stainless container, they'll tend to rate them to, like kegs and things like that, to 60. But they can handle more than that. And you can't get oxygen. What he should do is go fake a medical problem where he needs oxygen. Hey, you got all your socialized medicine there where everybody's covered, right? You go there, and then you get them to wheel over an oxygen tank for you or a concentrator, and then there you go.
Right. He might just have to wait 8 months to get his appointment, but...
But he's getting free oxygen.
Right.
Come on.
On the other hand, why does he really need oxygen?
Right. You can generally get by with just air. If you're doing lagers, I could see needing oxygen, but air is generally adequate for most beers. Oxygen's just quicker and easier. And it doesn't tend to impact the head retention as much because you get to your aeration level, your O2 level, quicker than you can with air, and less bubbling and less forming of head-forming proteins and things like that. So, I mean, there's something there to it, but it wouldn't be the end-all, be-all for me. But if you can do oxygen, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess looking at
what I'm saying is, what is up with your country? You can't get oxygen, huh?
I noticed you affected
Jesus
a little
Christ.
Southern accent right there for a minute.
That's right. Here in America, we can get oxygen anytime we damn well please. We go down to the Home Depot, the Lowe's, the Osh, and we can get ourselves all the oxygen we want. Little container, big container, we get them right here.
I'll start my own hospital and give oxygen to anybody who wants it.
Damn, what kind of communist country you living in? You can't get oxygen, right? Huh? Are you with me?
Charge it for the air you breathe.
Right. Here in America, air is free. We breathe every day.
That's why Jews have big noses.
Jesus. That's a little excessive, Scott.
Oh, please. This coming from a Jew with a small nose. Okay.
Your nose isn't that small. I'm just saying. No.
How dare you? My nose is adorable. Devo, my nose is great, isn't it?
Can't tell amongst all that red hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's adequate.
Speaking of adequate, go check out our fine sponsor,
Blickman
Engineering. They're as adequate as adequate gets. Wonderful people there. BlickmanEngineering.com.
And if that's not enough, go to AdamandEve.com.
Right. If you're feeling less than adequate, go to AdamandEve.com. Take a look at some of those pictures. You'll feel even less adequate. But you get a great discount. Use the offer code Jamel at AdamandEve.com. And if you still got a little bit of money to spend it on an AHA membership at thebrewingnetwork.com.
Yeah, be the best money you ever spent.
Yeah, Brewing Network gets a little cut, and you get to support a great organization. They give you lots in return. Well worth your price of admission. So check that out. Until then, brew strong, everybody.
Brew strong.